Hey guys, Whipspider here, and welcome back to the episode where today we're going to be playing Starcraft 1 with only the Marine. Now you might be wondering, what are the rules? The rules are actually quite simple. Number 1, the only offensive unit I'm allowed to build is the Marine. Number 2, I'm allowed to use any other offensive unit I begin with. Number 3, the only other units I'm allowed to build besides the Marine are SCVs and dropships. And that's it. Now, the second stage gives us a first real encounter with enemies. We have Zerglings, Hydralisks, and that's about it. All you really have to do is just bring your forces over to the enemy base and destroy it. The third stage really isn't any trouble. Just build lots of Marines, clog up the roadways in big clumps, and that's it. You literally have to do nothing else. You can't even build units on the fourth stage, so that makes that easy. Stage number 5. This is the first stage that requires us to use dropships. And funnily enough, the hardest part of the entire stage is getting to the main base. Now, once you've done that, all you have to do is move your barracks down to the southernmost part of the main island and start spamming out Marines as fast as you can. This allows you to begin your invasion on the second island where the enemy base is located. And this is where the fun part begins. Now that you've managed to bring all of your Marines over to the enemy island, just move on in. Your Marines are more than capable enough to defeat the enemy. And of course, if you're scared that you'll still manage to lose, trust me, bring over your barracks, spam out Marines over there, you'll be just fine. You know, you guys are really going to hate me for this, but stage number 6 would have been an actual challenge if it weren't for the amazing ability of cheese. Now, normally, you're supposed to go through this really difficult and long process of saving NORAD II. But we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to be using what I'd like to call the Dropship Method. Now, I don't know what the developers were thinking, but someone had the right idea that leaving a big enough gap for a dropship to fly through on the bottommost part of the map was a good idea. Because now, instead of having to go through the long, grueling process of fighting your way to NORAD II, you can just build 2 dropships and fly the entire way there. Stage number 7. This is the first stage that I had to actually put effort in order to win. This is the turning point for the rest of the run, because every stage past this wants you to use the better units. Except for we can't. We have to use Marines only. The stage begins like any other. You just need to build some barracks and defend yourself. But it gets really interesting when you actually try to attack the enemy base, because unlike before this, you have wraiths that can cloak themselves, meaning we have to change our strategy. Similar to missions prior to this, we need to build a lot of barracks, but with a slight key difference. In the past, we were able to just grunt rush them right off the bat, but unlike last time, we need to make a huge force. Something I would like to call a garrison. Nothing can beat a garrison. And when I say nothing, I mean nothing. Battlecruisers? Easy. Invisible wraiths? Gone. Enemy bases? Tanks? Zerglings? Hydralisks? Nothing can defeat the all-powerful, over-encompassing garrison. And trust me, in no time flat, you'll win. Stage number 9. Very similar to the last stage, we need a huge force of Marines. But there's still one more thing we need to do. They have tanks, wraiths, ghosts, and Marines all over the place. And many more units that we just don't have the right troops to fight with. But don't you guys worry, because we have one more card up our sleeves. Upgrades. That's right. The secret to winning this battle is not troops, It's just plain and simple upgrades. Really, if all you do is just upgrade your Marines, you'll be just fine. And for the rest of your instruction, literally all you have to do is A. Build lots of Marines. B. Kill the enemy. And you're done. I mean, seriously. You'd think you guys would have learned by now, but Marines in large groups can do anything. And this level is no exception to that. So as long as you're willing to constantly replenish your garrison force, you will be done in no time at all. Stage 10. This is the only stage I could see you or someone else having trouble with, mainly because you begin right next to two enemy races, the Zerg and the Protoss. And a rule that is unique to only this mission is that I am not allowed to destroy any of the Zerg colonies. This means that not only do you have to face against the Protoss and destroy their buildings, you have to defend against the Zerg the entire time, with only Marines. Now, I'm not so sure about you guys, but I know for a fact that this is going to be a problem. Marines, strong in numbers, are defenseless against a large, consistent stream of enemy units. That's what they do. They can't defend against that. And so because of this, I am moving my base. Where, you might ask? To the only other available spot on the map, which is in the southwest corner. This, however, does present a single difficulty. You are right next to the enemy Protoss base, but as long as you don't go out of your way to attack them, you'll be just fine. Any attack you'll get will be really small, and your Marines will be more than enough to counter it. And as long as you're willing to leave a few Marines behind back at your base, you will annihilate the Protoss in no time at all. And of course, I use this to my advantage. After building up a couple of garrisons, I upgraded my units as I told you about last time, and I invaded the enemy Protoss base. And man, are they tough! I think I had to reload my save file at least 5 separate times. But thankfully enough, my many different garrisons were more than enough to match the enemy. And though it took a little while, I managed to destroy every single Protoss building with only Marines. Stage 11, the 11th and final level. Now, you all might think that this is going to be the hardest level out of all of them. But let me tell you something. It isn't. Don't believe me? Let me prove it to you. Number 1, build up your SCVs. This is the one stage where you want to get SCVs as soon as possible because, guess what? The enemy is not going to attack you. Not at least until you adventure out and attack them. Number 2. Build a ton of barracks. Number 3, spam out as many Marines as you possibly can. And the last step is build a couple of dropships. And that's it. The rest of the game just comes down to you using brute force in order to win. Take what I did, for example. I did what I already told you. I built a huge source of income with SCVs, built lots of barracks, and I created a huge force of Marines. After that, I barged my way down directly across from the ion cannon and brought all my barracks right there and swarmed it. And in no time at all, I won. Is it possible to beat Starcraft 1 with only the Marine? Yes. Yes, it is. Guys, thank you so much for watching today's episode. I spent way too long on it, and now that I finally managed to finish it, I am so glad to be done with it. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a like, subscribe, share this with your friends, and comment down below what you want to see next. And as always, see you guys next time.